Welcome. My name is Lee Thurman on the Teacher Lee YouTube channel, and thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe to Modern Anthem. We're here to listen to Chapter 2 of Major General Smedley Butler's War is a Racket. Before we get into the chapter, I do want to clarify that I'm reading an abridged version of this text, and I personally did the abridging. I personally made the changes. I took out some passages and lines, as I explained before chapter 1, in order to shorten the overall length of these videos and also to help with the pacing to speed things along. For example, in chapter 2, you're going to hear a lot of company names and profit numbers. And in that section, I've taken out a few hundred words of Mr. Butler's. They're fantastic color. Just for what I'm trying to do here, they slow things down and muddy the waters a little bit. We'll talk more, though, on the other side of chapter 2. So without further ado, chapter 2 of Major General Smedley Butler's War is a Racket. Chapter 2, Who Makes the Profits? And this chapter begins with a quote by Abraham Lincoln. Worse than traitors in arms are the men who pretend loyalty to the flag, feast and fatten on the misfortunes of the nation, while patriotic blood is crimsoning the plains of the South, and their countrymen moldering the dust. Now on with Butler. The World War, rather our brief participation in it, has cost the United States some $52 billion. Figure it out. That means $400 to every American man, woman, and child. And we haven't paid the debt yet. We are paying it. Our children will pay it. And our children's children probably still will be paying the cost of that war. The normal profits of a business concern in the United States are 6, 8, 10, and sometimes 12%. But wartime profits, that is another matter. 20, 60, 100, 300, and even 1,800%. The sky is the limit. All that traffic will bear. Uncle Sam has the money. Let's get it. Of course, it isn't put that crudely in wartime. It is dressed into speeches about patriotism, love of country, and we must all put our shoulders to the wheel. But the profits jump and leap and skyrocket and are safely pocketed. Let's just take a few examples. Take our friends the DuPonts, the powder people. During the war years of 1914 to 1918, the DuPonts saw an increase in profit of more than 950% compared to the prior 4 years. Or take Bethlehem Steel, who patriotically shunted aside the making of rails and girders and bridges to manufacture war machines. They saw their profits increase some 800%. United States Steel saw their profits more than double. And let's take a look at something else, a little copper perhaps. That always does well in war times. Anaconda, for instance. They saw their profits triple during the war years. Utah Copper's yearly profits quadrupled. Does war pay? It paid them. But they aren't the only ones. There are still others. Let's take leather. The Central Leather Company saw a small wartime increase of 1,100%. The General Chemical Company profits jumped 1,400%. International Nickel Company, and you can't have a war without nickel, showed an increase of more than 1,700%. The American Sugar Refining Company's profits tripled. And let us not forget the bankers who financed the Great War. If anyone had the cream of the profits, it was the bankers. Now, being partnerships rather than incorporated organizations, they do not have to report to stockholders, and their profits were as secret as they were immense. How the bankers made their millions and their billions, I do not know. because those little secrets never become public, even before a Senate investigatory body. But here's how some of the other patriotic industrialists and speculators chiseled their way into war profits. Take the shoe people. They made huge profits on sales abroad to our allies. Perhaps, like the munitions manufacturers and armament makers, they also sold to the enemy. For a dollar is a dollar, whether it comes from Germany or from France. But they did well by Uncle Sam, too. For instance, they sold Uncle Sam 35 million pairs of hobnailed service shoes. There were 4 million soldiers, 8 pairs and more to a soldier. My regiment during the war had only 1 pair to a soldier. And some of these shoes probably are still in existence. They were good shoes. But when the war was over, Uncle Sam has a matter of 25 million pairs left over, bought and paid for. Profits recorded and pocketed. Now, there was still lots of leather left, so the leather people sold your Uncle Sam hundreds of thousands of McClellan saddles for the cavalry. But there wasn't any American cavalry overseas. Somebody had to get rid of this leather, however. Somebody had to make a profit in it. So we had a lot of McClellan saddles, and we probably have those yet. Airplane and engine manufacturers felt they too should get their just profits out of this war. Why not? Everybody else was getting theirs. So $1 billion was spent by Uncle Sam in building airplane engines that never left the ground. Not one plane or motor out of the $1 billion worth ordered ever got into a battle in France. Just the same, the manufacturers made their little profit of 30, 100, or perhaps 300%. There were lots of brilliant ideas for profit making during the war. One very versatile patriot sold Uncle Sam 12 dozen 48-inch wrenches. Oh, they were very nice wrenches. The only trouble was that there was only one nut ever made that was large enough for these wrenches. That is the one that holds the turbines at Niagara Falls. Well, after Uncle Sam had bought them and the manufacturer had pocketed the profit, the wrenches were put on freight cars and shunted all around the United States in an effort to find a use for them. When the armistice was signed, it was indeed a sad blow to the wrench manufacturer. He was just about to make some nuts to fit the wrenches. Then he planned to sell these too to your Uncle Sam. The shipbuilders felt they should come in on some of it too. They built a lot of ships that made a lot of profit, more than $3 billion worth. Some of the ships were all right, but $635 million worth of them were made of wood and wouldn't float. The seams opened up and they sank. We paid for them though, and somebody pocketed the profits. The Senate Nye Committee probe of the munitions industry and its wartime profits, despite its sensational disclosures, hardly has scratched the surface. Even so, it has had some effect. The State Department has been studying methods of keeping out of war. The War Department suddenly decides it has a wonderful plan to spring. The administration names a committee, with the War and Navy departments ably represented under the chairmanship of a Wall Street speculator. The committee's plan is to limit profits in wartime. To what extent isn't suggested. Possibly the profits of 300 and 600 and 1600% of those who turned blood into gold in the World War would be limited to some smaller figure. Apparently, however, the plan does not call for any limitation of losses. That is, the losses of those who fight the war. As far as I've been able to ascertain, there is nothing in the scheme to limit a soldier to the loss of but one eye or one arm, or to limit his wounds to 1 or 2 or 3, or to limit the loss of life. There is nothing in this scheme that says not more than 12% of a regiment shall be wounded in battle, or that not more than 7% in a division shall be killed. Of course, the committee cannot be bothered with such trifling matters. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed Chapter 2 of War is a Racket. It's hard not to love how much Smedley Butler just stood up for the average troops and how abruptly he ends his chapters. Before we go, I do want to mention commentary. I had a few people request a little more commentary on these videos. In the future, I might put out some accompanying videos where I offer that, give my takes, my context, and maybe comparing Butler's times to modern times. However, with this series, I want Mr. Butler's words to stand on their own. I think they're powerful enough for you to listen to and have your own takeaways. Thanks again for being here. Please like, share, subscribe, donate if you feel compelled. I'll put up the Venmo link again, and there's a GoFundMe link down in the video description. I look forward to seeing you for Chapter 3, which I believe is the most powerful chapter in the book. I'm really looking forward to putting it out for you. Yeah. Thank you very much. See you for Chapter 3.